येनाक्षरसमाम्नायम् अधिगम्य महेश्वरात् कृत्स्नं व्याकरणं प्रोक्तं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः। वाक्यकारं वररुचिं भाष्यकारं पतञ्जलिं पाणिनिं सूत्रकारं च प्रणतोऽस्मि मुनित्रयं नत्वा सरस्वतीं देवीं शुद्धां गुण्यां करोम्यहं पाणिनीयप्रवेशाय लघुसिद्धान्तकौमुदीम्। प्रारभामहे। मङ्गलाचरणस्य अध्ययनं प्रचलत् अस्ति। I have been saying the same line for many classes. मङ्गलाचरणस्य अध्ययनं प्रचलत् अस्ति। तत्र नत्वा सरस्वतीं देवीं शुद्धां गुण्यां करोमि अहं पाणिनीयप्रवेशाय इति सर्वं पूर्वस्मिन् वर्गे दृष्टम्। अद्य अन्तिमः शब्दः लघुसिद्धान्तकौमुदीम् इति। लघुसिद्धान्तकौमुदीम् इत्यत्र लघु इति एकः शब्दः, सिद्धान्तकौमुदी इति अपरः शब्दः। अत्र समासः अस्ति। लघ्वी च असौ सिद्धान्तकौमुदी च। लघु इति विशेषणं, सिद्धान्तकौमुदी इति विशेष्यं। लघु च असौ नो चेत् लघ्वी च असौ सिद्धान्तकौमुदी च। सिद्धान्तकौमुदी which is small enough, लघ्वी और लघु च असौ सिद्धान्तकौमुदी च लघुसिद्धान्तकौमुदी। कीदृशः समासः? कर्मधारय। किं सूत्रं? किं सूत्रं? विशेषणं विशेष्येण बहुलं। पश्यामः 157 विशेषणं विशेष्येण बहुलम् इति सूत्रेण विशेषणवाचि सुबन्तं विशेष्यवाचिना समानाधिकरणेन सुबन्तेन सह बहुलं समस्यते। A visheshana undergoes a samasa with the visheshya, you get the tatpurusha samasa. What is written? Tatpurushascha samasaha bhavati. भिन्नानि उदाहरणानि दत्तानि सन्ति। नीलं च तदुत्पलं, नीलोत्पलं, रक्तोत्पलं and so on. पूर्वस्मिन् वर्गे मया उक्तम् अत्र बहुलम् इति अस्ति. So this basically captures all sorts of abnormalities across the prayogas. यत्र यत्र एतादृशः समासः न भवति तत्रापि बहुलग्रहणात् न भवति, यत्र यत्र एतादृशः समासः भवति तत्रापि बहुलग्रहणात् भवति इति वक्तुं शक्यते। विशेषणं विशेष्येण बहुलम् इत्यनेन अत्र किमुक्तमस्ति? विशेषणम् इति एकः शब्दः, विशेष्यम् इति अपरः शब्दः, उभयोः समासः भवति। कीदृशः समासः भवति? तत्पुरुषसमासः भवति। इदानीं पश्यामः, यत्र विशेषणं तथा विशेष्यम् एतयोः युगपत् उपस्थितिः विद्यते, तत्र विशेषणस्य लिङ्गं विभक्तिः वचनं विशेष्यसदृशम् अस्ति इति सामान्यः नियमः। यद् लिङ्गं यद् वचनं यद् विभक्ति विशेष्यस्य इति सर्वम् अस्माभिः ज्ञायते। अतः अत्र किमुच्यते? एकं विशेषणम् एकं विशेष्यम् उभयोः विभक्तिः समाना, एतयोः समासः भवति। अस्य समासस्य तत्पुरुषसमास इति एव नाम, तत्पुरुषश्च समासो भवति इति उक्ते अयं विशेषः तत्पुरुषः समासः अस्यैव नाम कर्मधारयसमास इति अपि उच्यते। प्रथमाध्यायस्य द्वितीयपादे इदं सूत्रमस्ति। तत्पुरुषः समानाधिकरणः कर्मधारयः। समानाधिकरणः इत्युक्ते किम्? यत्र विभक्तिः समाना अस्ति, समानम् अधिकरणं, same vibhakti. So a tatpurusha samasa in which the purva pada and the uttara pada end up in the same vibhakti is called karmadharaya samasa. So atra अनेन प्रकारेण अत्र सूत्रद्वयं वर्तते। एकेन सूत्रेण विशेषण विशेष्ययोः तत्पुरुषसमासः दीयते, अपरेण सूत्रेण एतादृशस्य तत्पुरुषसमासस्य कर्मधारयः इति संज्ञा भवति। So there is no direct mention of a कर्मधारय समास in the समास प्रकरणं। समास प्रकरणे केवलं चतुर्णां समासानाम् एव वर्णनं क्रियते। अव्ययी भावः, the first one that they define is अव्ययी भावः, then there is तत्पुरुषः, third is द्वन्द्वः and fourth is bahuvrihi. So avyai bhavah tatpurushah. So avyai bhava and tatpurusha are in 2.1. Dvandva and bahuvrihi are in 2.2. Tatpurusha also flows from 2.1 into 2.2. So these are the four samasas in this order. All other sutras that you know, say Dvigu is another name that you know, Karmadharaya is another name that you know. All these names are subtypes that are defined within the samasa prakaranam. Tatrapi विशेषणं तथा विशेष्यम् एतयोः मध्ये विद्यमानः समासः कर्मधारय समासः अस्ति. केवलं विशेषणं विशेषम् इत्येव न, अपि तु यत्र यत्र एकस्य पदस्य अपरस्य च पदस्य च विभक्तिः समाना विद्यते. So it can be upamana, or it can be avadharana, or it can be visheshana. So you know there are those 9 different types of samasas, karmadharaya samasas. So all of them share the same characteristics, that the one pada and other pada have the same vibhakti running across. So we say tatpurusha samanadhikarana karmadharaya. So Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi, both of them have the same vibhakti. Laghu cha asau, no chat lagvi cha asau, Siddhanta Kaumudi cha Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi. Iti vadamaha.
Mahodaya,
Ha.
here they are only defining the samasas in 1.2, because you mentioned 2.1 and 2.2 is
1.2, in 1.2, this is only samnya that is being defined, called karmadharaya. He
defined.
says any samanadhikarana samasa which is also tatpurusha samasa will be called as karmadharaya samasa. He does not tell us what is a tatpurusha samasa over here. He just gives an alternate name for a samanadhikarana tatpurusha samasa as karmadharaya. Okay, tatpurusha samasa prakaranam is 2.1 and 2.2. So all the samasas will be defined in 2.1 and 2.2. Here this is just the samnya prakaranam. A samnya has been given. So tatra prathamaha shabdaha laghu cha asau siddhanta kaumudi cha laghuhu cha asau siddhanta kaumudi cha no chat lagvi cha asau siddhanta kaumudi cha. तत्र लघुः इति शब्दः कथं सिद्ध्यति? कु इति उणादि प्रत्ययः तत्र अस्ति. We need not go in those kind of details, but I'll anyway mention. So तत्र उणादि पाठः अस्ति. उणादि पाठे लघु इति शब्दः दृश्यते चेत् लङ्घि भयोर्नलोपश्च इति सूत्रं. कु इति प्रत्ययः लङ्घ गतौ इति धातुः, टु गो. सो लङ्घ इति धातुः, कु इति प्रत्ययः. तत्र प्रक्रियायां न लोपः भवति. सूत्रेण अपि उक्तमस्ति लङ्घ इत्यस्य न लोपः भवति, लघु इति शब्दः सिद्ध्यति. लङ्घ प्लस कु ककारस्य इत्संज्ञा लोपः. लङ्घ प्लस उ, घ is half, and then ng, langha, the nakara present over there goes away, because the sutra itself says nalopascha. Langha plus ku, langha plus u, lagha plus u, laghu iti shabdah siddhyati. Okay, runs like dhenu word or sadhu word or madhu word. विशेषणम् अस्ति त्रिषु अपि लिङ्गेषु. पुल्लिङ्गे साधु शब्दवत्, स्त्रीलिङ्गे धेनु शब्दवत्, नपुंसकलिङ्गे मधु शब्दवत् अस्य रूपाणि भवन्ति. अनेनैव सूत्रेण इत्युक्ते लङ्घि बह्योर्नलोपश्च, अनेनैव सूत्रेण कः द्वितीयः शब्दः सिद्ध्यति?
बहु.
बहु तत्र लिखितमपि अस्ति. लघु तदनन्तरम् अन्ते बहु इति लिखितमस्ति. सूत्रे अपि लङ्घि इत्यस्य लघु, बंहि इत्यस्य बहु. So two very well known words, laghu and bahu, both of them can be derived using this particular unadi sutram, langhi bhayyor nalopascha. Clear? इदानीम् अस्माकं विग्रहे मया द्विविधः विग्रहः उक्तः. लघुः च असौ सिद्धांत कौमुदी च, नो चेत् लघ्वी च असौ सिद्धांत कौमुदी च. तत्र पश्यामः एते सर्वे गुणवाचकाः शब्दाः ये सन्ति. पटु इति अस्ति, उकारान्ताः. पटु स्किल्ड, लघु, बहु, एते सर्वे गुणवाचकाः शब्दाः ये सन्ति. गुरु इति अस्ति, गुरु इज बिगर, लघु द ऑपोजिट ऑफ दैट विल बी गुरु. सो एते सर्वे गुणवाचकाः शब्दाः ये अस्ति, तेषां स्त्रीत्वे विवक्षिते. व्हेन यू वांट टू एक्सप्रेस द फेमिनाइन फॉर्म ऑफ दैट वर्ड, you can apply the niche pratyaya optionally. I'm writing this over here. Nish is a pratyaya. You can see on the screen it's written in the top right. Nish iti pratyayah vikalpena tatra bhavati. So if you want to add that pratyaya, laghu plus nish will be lagvi, normally anadesha. Ng goes away, sh goes away, e is there, lagvi. So laghu plus nish lagvi, or you can use the word laghu as it is in the feminine form. Ubhayatha tatra sadhutvam asti. Kim sutram? Voto gunavachanat iti sutram. Very simple sutram actually. It is in the beginning of 4.1. So understand, by looking at the number of the sutra, we should immediately understand what section of Ashtadhyayi it belongs to. So any sutram that is at the beginning of 4.1, before 4.180 or so, initial 80 sutras is a sutra of Stri Pratyaya Prakaranam. In the chapter 4 you have Swauja Samaut, that's all at the beginning, and then the Stri Pratyaya Prakaranam starts, Striyam, Ajadyatashtab, and so on. You don't need to know the exact number till 81 or 80. There is a Stri Pratyaya Prakaranam running. After that, the Tadhitadhikara starts. So this sutram at the beginning of 4.144, Voto Gunavachanat, very simple sutram, Va Ut उकारांत शब्दात् उत तपरकरणं कृतमस्ति ह्रस्व उकारांत शब्दात् विकल्पेन ङीष् इति प्रत्ययः भवति अनुवृत्तिरूपेण तत्र ङीष् इति आगच्छति अन्यतो ङीष् इत्यस्मात् ङीष् इति शब्दः अनुवर्तते गुणवाची यः ह्रस्व उकारान्तः शब्दः मृदु इति अस्ति बहु इति अस्ति पटु इति अस्ति लघु इति अस्ति गुरु इति अस्ति भिन्नाः गुणवाचकाः द वन दैट इंडिकेट्स अ क्वालिटी गुणवाचकाः ये ह्रस्व उकारान्ताः शब्दाः तेभ्यः ङीष इति स्त्री प्रत्ययः विकल्पेन भवति अतः वा इति उक्तमस्ति अतः लघुः सिद्धांत कौमुदी इति अपि उचितम् तत्र ङीष् इति प्रत्ययः क्रियते चेत् यणादेशः भवति लघ्वी सिद्धांत कौमुदी इति अपि उचितम्.
Just wanted to confirm that bahu is also gunavachaka, so this rule applies there also.
That is correct, bahu and bhavi. So for bahu there is a little bit of different sutram, immediate next sutram over there, bahuvadibhyascha iti api asti, but let's not go in the extra details about that. You can use voto gunavachanat for now. That would be a little bit of digression. Yeah, but bahu is also there, laghu is also there, mrudu is there, patu is there, guru is there. Any ukaranta word that indicates a quality which you can think of, you can apply the sutram to apply an optional niche.
Where is the ukara mentioned in the sutram? Voto ityukte kim?
Va uttaha vikalpena uttaha gunavachanat. उकारान्तः शब्दः गुणवाची तस्मात् ङीष् इति प्रत्ययः भवति.
Mahodaya, is it Tadhita form or
What is Tadhita form?
Lagvi, is it?
I just taught right. I just taught right. Laghu is unadi pratyayanta plus nish. So it's not.
Okay.
There is no laghu is unadi pratyayanta and nish is a stri pratyay. Stri pratyayas are not tadhitas. They are different. Clear? Sada Gopanji.
The definition of Gunavachana, Vikashika says, Gunam Uktavan Gunavachanaha. So, past tense, Gunam Uktavan Gunavachanaha. So, it is in the past tense. That means the Vachana Guna, Bhagu iti Guna, the word was once indicating the Guna of Bhagutvam. Now the word is indicating probably some other noun, yakti, as an adjective. Is my understanding correct?
So before I answer your question, I want to ask everybody, did they understand the question? Extremely important question is what he has asked. The question says, Gunam uktavan gunavachanaha. Specifically past tense kimartham. Tasya uttaramapi tenaiva dattam. He is just trying to confirm the answer, but I'll go a little slow. So basically what happens is the gunavachaka words are actually used in two flavors in Sanskrit language. Let's take a simple example. Forget about ukaranta words. Let's take a simple example of madhuraha. So what is the exact meaning of the word madhuraha? Madhuraha word actually indicates the sweetness as a guna. Sharkarayaha rasaha madhuraha iti vadamaha. So the taste of sharkara is madhura. However, we eventually end up using the word madhura as not the taste but as a substance which has that taste. Understand the fine difference. We say sharkara madhura. So we say apupaha madhuraha, phalam madhuram. So the word madhura, which actually indicates only the rasa, only the guna, gets indicated or gets used to indicate a gunavan entity which has the guna. Clear? This is called abhedaha. Abheda is non-distinction. We somehow forget the distinction between a guna and the entity that possesses that guna. Technically, madhura word cannot be used as an entity. It can only be used as a guna, but we use it as a replacement or as a visheshana for an entity. Same thing is happening over here. Laghu is actually a quality. So what we should technically say, laghuhu iti gunaha yasya asti tadrishaha granthaha. But instead of saying all that, the word laghu is being reused to indicate not the guna but the gunavan or gunavati, which is the book or Siddhanta Kaumudi or Grantha, whatever. So अत्र किमासीत् प्रारंभे मूलरूपेण लघु इति शब्दः गुणस्य निर्देशं कृतवान् परन्तु इदानीम् अस्मिन् प्रयोगे लघु इति शब्दः गुणवाचकस्य पदार्थस्य निर्देशं करोति. Is the difference clear? Earlier, when you say sharkarayaha rasaha madhuraha, the word madhuraha indicates the rasa. Such a word is always in the masculine form. However, or another example, shuklaha, pitaha, all these words are in the masculine form. So, asya varnaha shuklaha, tasya varnaha pitaha. This is the way you should use them. But we also end up in using pitam vastram or say pita lekhani, something like that. So we end up in using these words as a replacement or as a visheshana of the entity which possesses that guna. सो अत्र मधुरा शर्करा इत्यस्मिन् वाक्ये मधुर इति शब्दस्य गुणः इति अर्थः नास्ति, गुणवाचकः इति अर्थः अस्ति. But gunavachak artha cannot come out of the thin air. It must be representing guna earlier. Only then we can add an additional artha on the top of it. So प्रारंभे गुणवाचकः अर्थः इदानीं तद् अस्य अस्ति इत्यस्मिन् सन्दर्भे तस्यैव शब्दस्य प्रयोगः. अत एव अत्र गुणम् उक्तवान् गुणवचनः इति अत्र उच्यते. प्रारंभे केवलं गुणस्य निर्देशः कृतः. इदानीं गुणेन सह वस्तुनः अपि निर्देशः क्रियते. गुणवाचकस्य निर्देशः क्रियते. Let us see what Nyasa says over here. Look at this. Gunam uktaman gunavachanaha bhute kale lyutaha vidhanat saha punaha yaha prag gunam abhidhaya. Earlier it used to indicate the guna, purely the guna. Idanim kim karoti paschat matublopat abhedopacharadva tadvad dravyam abhidhatte. Now it is indicating the padartha. Earlier it was indicating purely the guna. Thank you, Sadagopanji, for asking this question. Very important question and very useful explanation. Jayashree ji, you had a question.
Yeah. See, when we say that guna muktavan can be taken as the one who has the guna, right? Like we say dhanavan. So why is it taken as a past tense? Why should it be? Why can't it be taken in the noun form directly?
Because right now, when you say, let's take the example of Madhura Sharkara. When you say Madhura Sharkara, is Madhura representing a guna or is it representing an object?
It's sweet, Madhura.
So you tell me. Let's take
It,
Aham
it's a
Madhuram.
it's a guna. It's a
No.
guna, right?
If it's a guna, then why it is in the feminine form? Why do you say Madhura Sharkara? Guna is just a word, right? It must be in the fully masculine form. Madhuraha. Madhuraha is the gunaha. A guna word, when it goes in the multiple genders, it cannot be just a pure guna, isn't it? When you say Madhura Sharkara, when you say Madhuram Phalam, when you say Madhuraha Apupaha, what are these words? Clearly, these words are Visheshanam. What is a Visheshanam? It will indicate the same thing as the Vishesha, extra quality on the top of it. So when you say Madhuram Phalam, the word Madhuram does not indicate the guna, but but it indicates
It's
an object having that guna.
having that. Yeah. It is an
Clear?
adjective to the phalam. Yeah, correct.
Yeah, it is an
Correct.
adjective, the phalam. It is not a guna, it is an object having that guna. So aham madhuram khadami means I am eating an object, eating a food item which has the quality of madhura. You get what I'm saying? It's a very, I
Yeah.
mean, in mathematics also we say very simple thing. Can you show me three? You cannot show me three. You can show me three pencils, three fingers, three people, three objects. But how will you show me three? You understand what I'm saying? In the same way,
Yeah.
how will you eat madhuram? You will eat madhuram fruit. You will eat madhuram sugar. You will eat madhuram apupam. How will you eat madhuram as a rasa? You cannot. So for all practical purposes, the word madhuram is being used to indicate a padartha. Clear? Now the next question is, the original meaning of the word madhuram is a sweetness, the sweet, the property of sweetness. How can it suddenly start representing a padartha? So we say there are two steps. Adau kimasit, adau madhuram iti shabdena kevalam rasasya nirdeshah krutah. Idanim saha rasaha yasmin vartate tadrishasya padarthasya nirdeshah kriyate. So if you look at these two events in the sequence of timeline, what is earlier? Earlier it was only the rasa. Now it is the rasavan padartha. That's the difference that he tries to emphasize by using a past tense. Gunam uktavan. Purvam kimasit kevalam gunaha asit. Idanim kimasti gunena sah padarthah api asti. Iti tatra bhedaha nirdeshyate. Same thing is explained. Let's read this first line of Nyasa. It's very important. Bhute kale. So that particular word is in the bhuta, uktavan. Iti bhute kale. Saha punaha. The same word is being reused. Yaha prag gunam abhidhaya. The one word which was using only the guna earlier. Paschat ityukte nav. Matup lopat. Remember, matup is used in the context of tadasya asti, tadasmin asti. We have seen multiple examples like Saraswati, tatra vatup, matup, and so on. We have studied all that. So technically, tad asya asti. So madhuram asya asti. You should say madhuravan. So technically, you should say vat or vatup or matup pratyay. So matup pratyay is what technically you should say. But he says matup lopat. Matup is gone. Somehow it is gone, or you just don't apply it. Abhedopacharadva. Abhedopachara is reusing a gunavachaka word also to indicate the padartha. Abheda. You somehow ignore that bheda, you somehow ignore that difference, and you use the same word madhura to indicate a pure guna and to indicate also the padartha having that guna. Tat dravyam abhidhatte. It now represents the dravya. Dravya is not liquid. Object is called dravya. Substance is called dravya. Tat dravyam abhidhatte iti ashaya. Clear so far? Any questions on this?
Mahodaya, Now in madhurata and madhuratva, they are only gunavachaka.
In madhurata, the madhura word is only in the gunavachaka sense. That's why the madhurasya bhavaha madhurata iti vadamaha. Okay. So we
Madhuratvam
say
also is same like.
शर्करायाः रसः मधुरः शर्करायां मधुरता अस्ति मधुरत्वम् अस्ति माधुर्यं शय प्रत्यय 3 of them are there. Shay is also there. माधुर्यम् इति अपि अस्ति.
Mahodaya, the Patu, Laghu, Mridu, and also Guru also, is it?
Guru also. So Gurvi is the one that you use in the feminine form.
Okay, Gurvi.
Gurvi
Okay.
yasya kamavastha. Vidyunmala is one of the meters. The shloka of that meter has these words. अग्रे गच्छामः. तत्र इदानीं पश्यामः लघ्वी च असौ सिद्धान्तकौमुदी च इत्यत्र कर्मधारयसमासः अस्ति. लघुः च असौ सिद्धान्तकौमुदी च इति अपि वदामः. लघुः च सिद्धान्तकौमुदी च लघुसिद्धान्तकौमुदी. परन्तु लघ्वी च असौ सिद्धान्तकौमुदी च इति विग्रहः क्रियते चेद् अपि तत्र लघुसिद्धान्तकौमुदी इत्येव भवति. लघ्वी सिद्धान्तकौमुदी इति न भवति. Understand this. The vigraha is possible in two ways. Laghuhu chasau siddhanta kaumudi cha or lagvi chasau siddhanta kaumudi cha. Lagvi chasau siddhanta kaumudi cha ityatra api laghuhu ityeva no chat laghu ityeva parivartanam bhavati. Tatra sutram. I'll explain in 1 minute. We will not go in the details. Pumat karmadharaya jatiya deshiyeshu. Pumvat. The word behaves like a masculine form. Pumvat. Kutra karmadharaya samase. When the purva pada is feminine in a karmadharaya samasa, it will behave or it will get turned into the corresponding masculine form. So when you say Lagvi and Siddhanta Kaumudi and you want to do a samasa of them, the Purva Pada is Lagvi, it gets converted into the corresponding masculine form, which is obviously Laghu, the Mula, because you have to get rid of niche, you will get Laghu. So Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi iti bhavati. Clear? So all that we have to, let's not go in this sutram. I'll not explain any further details in this sutram. Let's only understand that what is happening. The Pumad Bhava is happening. Pumad Bhava is the process of converting a feminine word into a corresponding masculine word, typically by taking out the Stri Pratyaya that was attached. So Devi Tatra Pumad Bhava kriyate che Deva iti bhavati. Lagvi tatra pumat bhava kriyate chet laghu iti bhavati. When you extract out that particular stri pratyaya that was attached, what you get is the pumad bhava, or that process is called pumad bhava. The nish pratyaya, when removed from lagvi, you will get laghu. That's basically the word that is used in the samasa. Somebody wants to say something?
Dirgha asau rajjuhu, dirgha rajjuhu.
So dirgha cha asau rajjuhu, dirgha rajjuhu is another example. Very good. Idanim Siddhanta Kaumudi iti shabdam pashyamah. We discussed a lot of things about Laghu. Let's talk about the word Siddhanta Kaumudi. Tatra kidrishah samasah Siddhantanam Kaumudi iti Siddhanta Kaumudi. Kaha samasah?
षष्ठी तत्पुरुष
Shashti
Shashti
tatpurush.
Tatpurushaha. Kim sutram?
Shashti.
Shashti. I have taught last time. Shashti 2.2.8. Shashti iti sutram. षष्ठ्यन्तं सुबन्तं समर्थेन सुबन्तेन सह समस्यते तत्पुरुष समासश्च भवति. सो सिद्धान्तानां कौमुदी सिद्धान्त कौमुदी. इदानीं प्रत्येकं शब्दं दृष्ट्वा पृथक् रूपेण तस्य विवरणं पश्यामः. सिद्धान्तः सिद्धः अन्तः यस्मात् सः इति सिद्धान्तः. बहुव्रीहि समासः अस्ति. सिद्धः अन्तः यस्मात् सः. So our shastras, how have they have been presented? They have been presented using Purva Paksha Uttara Paksha argument. Somebody asks a question, somebody clarifies, then that Purva Paksha asks another question, then it gets clarified, and so on. So the whole shastra is presented in form of a discourse, in form of a debate. So there will be questions and those will be clarified. There will be sub questions, those will be clarified, and all the way at the end, the siddhanta, the final statement will be, published, or it will be mutually agreed upon. So that marks the end of the debate. Beyond that, there is no debate, because now all the doubts have been clarified. It is an established principle. So siddha antah yasmat saha. The last statement of a discourse, of an argument, that demarcates the end of that argument by providing a specific conclusive, theorem, statement, whatever, is called siddhanta. Siddha antah yasmat saha. So अनेन प्रकारेण अस्मिन् पुस्तके, अस्मिन् ग्रन्थे किं क्रियते? व्याकरणस्य भिन्नानि मतान्तराणि सन्ति, तेषां चर्चा नास्ति. You don't have like this guy said that, this guy said that, and so on. The final siddhanta, the final set of rules have been enumerated. So we say siddhantanam kaumudi asti. Charchayaha kaumudi nasti, matanam kaumudi nasti, siddhantanam kaumudi asti. Ataha siddhanta kaumudi. Siddha antah yasmat saha siddhantah.
किमर्थं यस्मात् सः महोदय
यस्मात् सः किमर्थं? यस्मात् वाक्यात्, यस्मात् वचनात्. Siddhanta is what? It is a statement, or it is a group of sentences. What do these sentences do? These sentences justify a conclusion. They demarcate an end of that argument. So yasmat vakyat अत्र अन्तः आगतः, कस्य? चर्चायाः अन्तः आगतः इति स्पष्टं भवति, सः सिद्धान्तः. यस्मात् वाक्यात् अन्तः प्रतिपाद्यते, सः सिद्धान्तः. Any questions on this? So we discussed the word laghu, we discussed the word siddhanta. The only word that is remaining is now kaumudi. What is the meaning of the word kaumudi?
ज्योत्स्ना
Like a
चन्द्रस्य
moon.
Jyotsna. What is the meaning of the word Jyotsna?
चन्द्रस्य किरणः
Kasya?
चन्द्रस्य किरणः
Chandraprakashah iti
Like
uchyate.
a moon. Yeah.
Moonlight. Chandraprakashah iti uchyate. So why do we say Chandraprakashah? Why not Surya Prakashah? Surya Prakasha is even more powerful
Cooling.
than Chandra.
Laghu
So it is not as hard on you as you might think. It is actually an easy text. The complex siddhantas, that's an irony, but complex siddhantas of grammar have been very easily presented in a soothing manner. So we don't say the sunlight is pleasing. We rarely say that. Moonlight is always pleasing. So siddhantanam kaumudi iti siddhanta kaumudi. The siddhantas, even the most complex of the siddhantas, have been presented in a pleasing manner, in a manner that does not cause you irritation, that does not cause your temperature to go high. So siddhantanam kaumudi iti siddhanta kaumudi. Clear? Kaumudi iti shabdam pashyamah. Tatra shabdadvayam madhye vidyate. Ku and muda. What is ku?
apa,
No. Ka is apa.
भूमिः
Bhumihi, Amarakoshe. Bhumihi, I think in the Kosha we will have this. Bhumihi, Prithvi, iti arthaha. So Ku is Bhumihi. Now what happens? Because of the sunlight, the earth becomes hot, the earth gets irritated, it becomes dry, and then comes the moon that makes the earth happy. So Koho Mudaha Kumudaha. कोहो इत्युक्ते पृथिव्याः, कु इत्यस्य षष्ठी एकवचनं, कोः मुदः. मुदः इत्युक्ते आनन्दः. मुद इति धातुः अस्मात् धातोः क इति प्रत्ययः क्रियते. मुदः इत्युक्ते the one that is happy. Modate iti mudaha. The one that is happy, basically happiness iti api atra sandarbhah bhavitum arhati. Anandaha iti atra arthah svikriyate. Koho mudaha kumudaha. Clear? मुदः इत्यस्मिन् विषये किञ्चित् वदामि। मुद इति तत्र धातुः, मोदते इति आत्मनेपदी रूपाणि तस्य भवन्ति। मुदहर्षे इति भ्वादिगणस्य धातुः, अस्मात् धातोः क इति प्रत्ययः कृतः अस्ति। मुद प्लस क is a कृत प्रत्यय, मुद प्लस क becomes मुद, the full word मुद तत्र प्रायेण कोशे भवेत् अपि मुद इति शब्दः। Why did I close that kosha? It takes some time to load again. मुदहर्षे तत्र मुदितः अस्ति, मोदते, बेसिकली द वन हु इज हैप्पी और द हैप्पीनेस इति भिन्नाः अर्थाः सन्ति। इगुपधज्ञा प्रीकिरक्कः इति सूत्रमस्ति। अनेन सूत्रेण मुद धातोः क इति प्रत्ययः भवति। आई विल शो द सूत्रम इन अ मिनिट एंड देन वी कैन गो टू द व्याख्या। इगुपध यस्मात् शब्दात् उपधायाम् इक् वर्णः अस्ति। इक् वर्ण इ उ रु लु। सो अत्र मुद इति धातोः उपधायाम् उकारः अस्ति। यस्मिन् धातौ उपधायाम् उकारः विद्यते तादृशः इगुपध धातुः, तस्मात् क इति प्रत्ययः भवति। That's it. It's very simple सूत्रम् actually. So बुध इति एकम् उदाहरणं दत्तमस्ति। लिख इति अपरम् उदाहरणं दत्तमस्ति। कृश इति तृतीयम् उदाहरणं दत्तमस्ति। अनेनैव प्रकारेण मुद इति अस्माभिः तत्र उदाहरणं स्थापयितुं शक्यते। मुद प्लस क गिविंग मुद. Technically the meaning is somebody who is happy, but अत्र अस्मिन् सन्दर्भे कोः मुदः इत्युक्ते पृथिव्याः आनन्दः इति अपि अर्थः, भूम्याः आनन्दः इति अपि अर्थः भवितुम् अर्हति। सो कोः मुदः कुमुदः चन्द्रः इति आशयः। सो पृथिव्याः आनन्दः चन्द्रः इति आशयः। कोः मुदः कुमुदः चन्द्रः। क्लियर? सो द वर्ड कुमुद, वदतु।
Why couldn't we have used which? Sorry, I have a bad throat. Why couldn't we have used which to make happy? No?
No, but that won't happen because modayati would be modaha and not mudaha. The nich pratyay would cause a mod and then k will give a mo, and then k will not even apply. You can apply ach if you want, but it will end up in modaha. So it will not be mudaha at all. So in order to derive the word mudaha, you have to start with modate iti mudaha and somehow transform that meaning to get anandaha. So what all did we study? I probably threw a bunch of sutras. We start with the muda dhatu. Muda plus ka ityatra muda. So the half it becomes full the muda. Anandaha nochet modate iti mudaha iti vadamaha. Koho mudaha kumudaha ityukte chandraha. Kimartham chandra iti vadamaha? We have to come to the moonlight towards the end. So we start with moon and then we have to go to moonlight. Idanim pashyamaha. Kumuda iti chandraha tasya idam. So we want to indicate something belonging to the kumuda. So we say tasya idam kaumudam. Tasya idam. This is a tadhita artha. Tasya idam ityasmin arthe kumuda iti shabdat ana pratyayah bhavati. So as you remember, Tadhita Prakaranam has two sets of sutras. In one set, there are all arthas written. So tatra tasya idam iti kaschana arthaha asti. Tasyedam iti arthaha. Chaturthadhyasya tritiya pade. It's a very generic artha. X of Y. Tasya idam. So anything that belongs to anything else, you can use tasyedam to indicate that particular relationship. So tasyedam इत्यस्मिन् सन्दर्भे अत्र कुमुद शब्दस्य विषये अण इति प्रत्ययः भवति. कुमुद प्लस अण becomes कौमुद. Adivruddhi bhavati. U becomes au. Kumuda plus ana becomes kaumuda. Clear? And then the book is to be named in the feminine form. So Siddhanta Kaumudi. He wants to name the book in as a feminine word rather than a masculine word. So you have books with the name which are masculine also. Paribhashendu Shekharaha iti asti. Nyasaha iti asti. Some of the books have feminine names. Praudha Manorama, Bala Manorama, Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi, Siddhanta Kaumudi. So he wants to add a stri pratyay on the top of it. It is his choice. So Kaumuda would also mean moonlight, but in general, Kaumuda word is not that famous. The word in the corresponding feminine form, Kaumudi, is more famous. So you add a neep pratyaya on Kaumuda. Kaumuda plus neep becomes Kaumudi. Clear? The sutram that gives the neep pratyaya, Tidhane. Tidhane. This is a huge sutram in the beginning of 4.1. Do not want to know this sutram. Only one part. Ana. That's all that you care from this whole sutram. See the padacheda. Any word that has ana pratyaya at the end gets neep to indicate the feminine version. So kaumuda ityatra kim asti? Kumuda plus ana iti asti. Kumuda plus ana, kaumuda. So kaumuda has ana at the end. So we apply a neep on the top of it. We get kaumudi. Kaumuda plus neep becomes kaumudi.
Can you repeat the last part? Any word which has ana at the end, that part,
Yeah, so
please.
look at this. This sutram, it basically lists bunch of pratyayas. And it says any word which ends in any of these pratyayas, for such a word, if you want to use create a corresponding feminine form, you use a neep pratyaya. So kidrishaha shabdaha, the words that have a dha pratyaya at the end, the words that have a tit pratyaya at the end, itsamnyaka takara. The words that have an pratyaya at the end, ay pratyaya at the end, taya pratyaya, thak pratyaya, thai pratyaya. It's just list of pratyayas. Some 10-12 pratyayas have been written, and he says any word that ends in any of those pratyayas gets a neep. Okay, so see, remember Devata. That time also we referred to this sutram. Devata had a takara at the end, so we added a neep and we said Devi. In the same way, we are now using the ana part. Kaumuda is the word. Does it end in the ana pratyaya? Yes, it is kumuda plus ana is equal to kaumuda. So it ends in the ana pratyaya. So when you want to make a corresponding feminine form, you add a neep pratyaya. Kaumuda plus neep. You don't need to remember the prakriya, don't need to know the prakriya. Kaumudi iti bhavati. So let's go to the vyakhya. Lagvi ch asau siddhanta kaumudi cha iti laghu siddhanta kaumudi. We start breaking from the top. Laghu ch asau or lagvi ch asau siddhanta kaumudi cha iti laghu siddhanta kaumudi tam iti dvitiya ekvachanam. तत्र कौमुदी इति शब्दस्य निर्माणं कथं भवति? मोदते इति मुदः इगुपधज्ञा प्रीकिरक्कः इति क प्रत्ययः. सो मुद प्लस क गिव्स मुद. कुहु इत्युक्ते भूमिः, कोहो मुदः इत्युक्ते कुमुदः, चन्द्रः, कोहो मुदः इति षष्ठी तत्पुरुषः. कुमुदस्य इदं तस्येदम् इति कौमुदं, तस्येदम् इति अणप्रत्ययः. स्त्रीत्वे टिड्ढाणे इति ङीप् प्रत्यये कौमुदी प्रकाशिका ज्योत्स्ना प्रकाशं ददाति इति अर्थः. अनेन प्रकारेण कौमुदी इति शब्दः सिद्ध्यति. व्याकरणस्य सिद्धान्तानां कौमुदी इति सिद्धान्तकौमुदी. सिद्धान्तानां प्रकाशिका सिद्धान्तान् प्रकाशयति इति अर्थः. अतः संपूर्ण रूपेण लघु सिद्धांत कौमुदी इति शब्दस्य कः अर्थः इति चेत् संक्षिप्ता तथापि अनेक शब्द सिद्धांत अर्थ प्रकाश जनिका. This is a word picked up directly from your commentary. अनेक शब्द सिद्धांतार्थ प्रकाश जनिका इति लघु सिद्धांत कौमुदी। पुनरेकवारं मूलं व्याख्यानं पश्यामः। लघु सिद्धांत इति मोदते इति मुदः, कोः मुदः कुमुदः, कुमुदः चन्द्रः, तस्य इयं तस्येदम् इत्यणी कौमुदी, टाइपिंग मिस्टेक, कौमुदी ज्योत्स्ना, लघ्वी च असौ सिद्धांत कौमुदी च इति लघु सिद्धांत कौमुदी। एंड ताम इत्युक्ते अत्यल्पां संक्षिप्ताम् अपि अनेक शब्द सिद्धांतार्थ प्रकाश जनिकाम इति यावत. This is a style of writing the commentaries. That's all about this particular मंगलाचरणम. इति यावत सर्वं भवद्भिः अग्रे ज्ञेयम् इति आशयः. इति यावत. So let's step back and let's understand what we really learned across last few classes. Just look at the vastness of the things that you have learned. We started with the word natva. Tatra asmabhi kim drishtam samana kartrukayoho पूर्वकाले इति नूतनं सूत्रम् अस्माभिः दृष्टं. त्वा प्रत्ययस्य निर्माणं निर्देशः कथं भवति? समान कर्तृकयोः पूर्वकाले इति सूत्रेण भवति. णम प्रभत्वे शब्दे इति भौवादिकस्य समान कर्तृकयोः पूर्वकाले इति क्त्वीरूपम् इति अस्माभिः उक्तम्. सरस्वतीम् इति द्वितीयः शब्दः. तत्र अस्माभिः मतुप् इति प्रत्ययस्य अध्ययनं कृतं. सरः अस्य अस्मिन् अस्ति इति सरस्वान्, नो चेत् इति सरस्वती. तत्र मतुप् प्रत्ययः, तस्य मकारस्य वकारादेशः कथं भवति? So we studied the primary sutram in this context was samnyayam, but in the association we also quickly took a look at madhupadhaya shamatorvo ayavadibhyah and jayah. तदनन्तरम् अस्माभिः संज्ञायाम् इति दृष्टम्. अग्रे सरस्वत इत्यत्र नीप् प्रत्ययः कथं भवति? उगितश्च इति सूत्रम् अस्माभिः दृष्टम्. सरस्वती. The third was देवीम्. We started with the दिव धातु. नन्दिग्रहि पचादिभ्यो लुडिन्यचः इति अच् प्रत्ययः. तत्र गणे देवट् इति टकारेण सह निर्देशः कृतः अस्ति. तस्य किं प्रयोजनम् इति चेत् टिड्ढाणे इति सूत्रेण नीप् प्रत्यय विधानं देवी इति शब्दः सिद्ध्यति. तदनन्तरं शुद्धाम् इति शब्दः दृष्टः. क्त प्रत्ययान्तः अयं शब्दः कर्तरि क्त प्रत्ययः अस्ति. सो वी लुक्ड एट दैट सूत्रम गत्यर्था कर्मकश्लिष एंड सो ऑन. अकर्मकत्वका तत्र कर्तरि क्त अस्ति. In the context of that, I also discussed briefly about other versions of क्त प्रत्यय. तदनन्तरं गुण्याम् इति शब्दः. गुण इत्यस्मात् शब्दात् गुण अस्य अस्ति इत्यत्र मतुप् इत्यस्य अपवादत्वेन यप इति प्रत्ययः भवति. तत्र मूलरूपेण रूपादाहत प्रशंसयोर् यप, परन्तु अन्येभ्योऽपि दृश्यते इति वार्तिकम् अस्माभिः तत्र दृष्टम्. अनेन वार्तिकेण गुण्या इति शब्दः भवति, गुण्य इति शब्दः भवति. तत्र अजाद्यतष्टाप् इति टाप् प्रत्यये गुण्याम्. तत्र तदनन्तरं शुद्धां गुण्यां करोमि. कृ धातोः वर्तमाने लट् इति सूत्रेण लट् लकारः, तस्य प्रथम उत्तमपुरुषस्य एकवचनम्. अहम् इत्यत्र अयं शब्दः पाणिनीय व्याकरणे अव्युत्पन्नः, परन्तु औणादिकः. युष्यसिभ्यां मदिक इति तत्र मदिक् प्रत्ययान्तः अयं शब्दः. पूर्वस्मिन् वर्गे पाणिनीय प्रवेशाय इति अस्माभिः दृष्टम्. तत्र पाणिनीयस्य प्रवेशः, पाणिनीये प्रवेशः इति उभयतः सिद्धि. So we learned the षष्ठी समास, we learned सप्तमी शौण्डैः. Then we said पाणिनीय इत्यत्र पाणिनिना प्रोक्तं पाणिनीयम्. So we studied तेन प्रोक्तं. Then we looked at the word पाणिनि and we said it is a vruddha samyaka. We learned the sudram vruddhir yasya chamadistad vruddham. Then we said वृद्ध सम्यक शब्दात् छ इति प्रत्ययः भवति वृद्धाच्छः. छ इत्यस्य इ आदेशः भवति आयनेयी नीयीयः फडकच्छगां प्रत्ययादीनाम्. अन्ते प्रवेश इत्यत्र विष धातोः भावे घय प्रत्ययः अस्ति. सो भावे इति सूत्रं दृष्टम्. अन्ते अद्यतनपाठे लघुसिद्धान्तकौमुदीम् इत्यत्र विशेषणं विशेष्येण बहुलम् इति आदौ तत्पुरुषः समानाधिकरणकर्मधारयः इगुपदज्ञाप्रीकिरक्कः इत्यनेन क प्रत्ययः मुद प्लस् क तस्येदम् इति अण प्रत्ययः पुनरेकवारं टिड्ढाण इत्यत्र ङीप् कौमुदी तत्र पुनरेकवारं सिद्धान्तानां कौमुदी इति षष्ठी तत्पुरुषसमासः. So even before entering Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi, just through the Mangalacharanam, we studied, I don't know, 25 plus sutras that will be very useful for you in the further studies in the longer run. So tatra Sudha Teekayaha Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudyaha Mangalacharanasya Vyakhya Natva iti Anjali Shirasanyogadi Vyaparena Toshayitva. This all should sound now completely familiar. Saraswatim iti Saraha Vidyasthanam Asti Asyaha iti Saraswati Tam ityukte Vagdevatam Devim iti Divyati Nochet Pralaye Sarvan Swasyan Nivesha Kridati iti Devi Tam Pachadishu देवट इति शब्दपाठात् ततो ङीपी रूपं देवी इति शुद्धामिति शुद्धस्वरूपां दोषरहितां गुढ्न्यामिति प्रशस्ताः गुणाः यस्याः तां गुणत्रयमध्ये सत्त्वगुणवती प्रशस्तगुणवती इत्यर्थः. अत्र विद्यमानं विशेषणं द्वयं शुद्धां तथा गुण्यां निरुक्तविशेषणद्वयं निश्चयेन उक्तम् इति निरुक्तं निरुक्तविशेषणद्वयं ग्रन्थपक्षे अपि योज्यं सरस्वत्याः पक्षे अपि योज्यम्. अतः शुद्धाम् इत्युक्ते काठिन्यादिदोषरहितां लघुसिद्धान्तकौमुदी, गुण्याम् इत्युक्ते शब्दव्युत्पत्तिज्ञानादिप्रशस्तबहुगुणवती लघुसिद्धान्तकौमुदी इति आशयः. करोमि इति डुक्रुयि करणे इति भौ इति तानादिकात् डुक्रुयि करणे अस्मात् कर्तरि लटिरूपम् उत्पत्त्यनुकूलव्यापारः क्रूधात्वर्थः. So we also studied धात्वर्थास in detail. पाणिनीय प्रवेशाय पाणिनिना प्रोक्तम् इत्यत्र तेन प्रोक्तम् इत्यस्मिन् अर्थे वृद्धाच्छः इति छः पाणिनीयं महाव्याकरणं तस्मिन् बुद्धेः प्रवेशार्थं पाणिनीय प्रवेशाय इति. लघु सिद्धांत इति मोदते इति मुदः कोहो मुदः कुमुदः कुमुदः चंद्रः तस्य इयम्. सो तस्येदम् इति सूत्रमस्ति परन्तु स्त्रीत्वे प्रयोगः करणीयः अतः तस्य इयम् तस्येदम् इत्यणी कौमुदी ज्योत्स्ना लघ्वी च असौ सिद्धांत कौमुदी च इति लघु सिद्धांत कौमुदी ताम् इत्युक्ते संक्षिप्ताम् अत्यल्पाम् अपि अनेक शब्द सिद्धांतार्थ प्रकाश जनिकाम् इति यावत् इनफ ऑफ द डिस्क्रिप्शन इति यावत् अस्य मंगलाचरणस्य विवरणं दीयते. Let's take a quick look at the initial Mangalacharanam of Sudha Teeka. I don't want to go in the grammatical analysis. I will just quickly run through the normal Anvaya, Akanksha Paddhati and so on. 2 minutes for each of them. Some of the shlokas are also like very well known to us. They are not even from the Mangalacharanam of Sudha Teeka. We usually pronounce them at the beginning of grammar class. Yena akshara samamnayam adhigamya maheshwarat krutznam vyakaranam proktam tasmai paninaye namaha. So paninaye namaha. कीदृशः पाणिनिः येन अक्षरसमाम्नायम् अक्षराणां समूहः अक्षरसमाम्नायम् द एन्यूमरेशन ऑफ द लेटर्स obtained from the Maheshwara. So येनाक्षरसमाम्नायम् अधिगम्य संप्राप्य स्वीकृत्य श्रुत्वा इति अर्थः. महेश्वरात् साक्षात् शिवात् नृतावसाने नटराजराजः ननादढक्कां नवपञ्चवारम् उद्धर्तु कामस्सनकाति सिद्धान् एतद्विमर्शे शिवसूत्रजालम्. तस्मात् शिवसूत्रजालात् अक्षरसमाम्नायम् अधिगम्य तस्य आधारेण कृत्स्नम् इत्युक्ते सम्पूर्णं व्याकरणं प्रोक्तम् तस्मै पाणिनये नमः. पाणिनि तस्य चतुर्थी एकवचनं पाणिनये नमः. येन महेश्वरात् अक्षरसमाम्नायम् अधिगम्य संपूर्णं कृत्स्नं व्याकरणं प्रोक्तं संपूर्णः कर्मणि प्रयोगः तस्मै पाणिनये नमः। सरलः अर्थः। वाक्यकारं वररुचिः, वाक्यम् इत्युक्ते वार्तिकं, वार्तिकं करोति वार्तिककारः, वररुचिः तस्यैव अपरं नाम कात्यायनः, भाष्यकारः भाष्यं कृतवान् भाष्यं करोति पतञ्जलिः, भाष्यकारं पतञ्जलिं सूत्रं करोति सूत्रकारः पाणिनिः। सो पाणिनिं सूत्रकारञ्च मुनित्रयं, द थ्री प्राइमरी मुनीस् ऑफ संस्कृत ग्रामर, अहं प्रणतः अस्मि। Okay, I am offering my salutations. Now starts the Mangalacharanam of Sudha Teeka. In the initial shloka, he offers salutations to Lord Ganesha. He was a Maharashtrian. Ganesha is extremely highly regarded amongst the Maharashtrians. So he offers his salutations to Ganesha. Then he offers his salutations to his father. And then he talks about the Tika. So, Jayati Ganesha Devo Harta Vignasya Sakala Bhaktanam Anuraktanam Loke Siddhi Prada Esha Vikhyataha. Sararartha Ganesha Devaha Jayati. So, which of this is the Mangalacharanam? Ashihi, Namaskriya, or Vastu Nirdesha?
Namaskriya.
नमस्क्रिया। जयति इत्युक्ते तस्य जयः भवति भवेत् इति आशयः। सो नमस्कारात्मकं मङ्गलाचरणमस्ति। जयति गणेशदेवः, गणेशः देवः। कीदृशः गणेशः देवः? एषः विख्यातः गणेशः देवः, वेल् नोन्, विख्यातः। कथं विख्यातः? हाउ डिड ही बिकम पॉपुलर? सकल भक्तानां विघ्नस्य हर्ता। He will take away the obstacles of all his bhaktas, all his devotees, followers. So, sakala bhaktanam vignasya harta tatha cha anuraktanam siddhi pradaha. The one on whom he is happy, on whom he is blessed, or the one on whom he showers the blessings, he also will give the siddhi. So, anuraktanam siddhi pradaha. Yeshu saha anuraktaha asti. So, bhaktanam siddhi pradaha, siddhim pradadati. He also offers them siddhis, basically success in various laukika and the non-laukika terms. Etadrisham anena prakarena ayam लोके विख्यातः अस्ति. सो अनुरक्त इत्यस्य उभयथा अर्थः भवितुमर्हति। येषु सः अनुरक्तः अस्ति तेषां कृते, नो चेत् ये तस्मिन् अनुरक्ताः सन्ति तेषां कृते, सर्वेषां कृते सः सिद्धिं ददाति। नो चेत् ये केऽपि भक्ताः सन्ति तेषां विघ्नस्य हरणं करोति। अनेन प्रकारेण सः लोके इत्युक्ते जनेषु विख्यातः, प्रसिद्धः अस्ति। तादृशः गणेशः देवः जयति। पित्रोः पादयुगं नत्वा दयासागर सद्गुरुं वन्दे गणपति ख्यातं शब्दागम विशारदम्. सो गणपति इति प्रायेण तस्य पितुः नाम। इदानीं गणेशस्य वन्दनं कृतम्, इदानीं पितुः वन्दनं। पित्रोः पादयुगं नत्वा, टचिंग हिज फीट। सो पित्रोः अत्र द्विवचनमस्ति। सो माता एंड पिता। सो पित्रोः, सो पित्रोः इति द्विवचनं, तत्र मातुः पितुः च एकशेषः। पित्रोः पादयुगं नत्वा दयासागर सद्गुरुं गणपतिख्यातं शब्दागम विशारदं वन्दे। गणपति इति पितुः नाम, गणपतिख्यातं शब्दागम विशारदं दयासागर सद्गुरुं वन्दे. So his father, who is also an expert in grammar, name of his father is Ganapati. Dayasagara Sadgurum, whatever, ocean of compassion, whatever, tam vande iti dvitiyah shlokah. Finally, कर्पूरपूरोज्ज्वलकाय कान्तिं गौरीपतिं चिन्तयता मयेयं जोषीत्युपाभिन सदाशिवेन टीका सुधाख्या रचिताश्रमेण. सो शङ्करस्य वर्णनं कृतमस्ति। गौरीपति शङ्करः कीदृशः? Karpura Pura. So Karpura, camphor, Pura is collection. Purayati iti Puraha. Full of camphor. So if you take a big set of camphors, how shining white it would be. That shining white kantihi, kayasya, sharirasya kantihi, prakashaha. So the light coming from the body is as white as a huge set of camphors. Karpura puraha iva ujjwala kantihi, or karpura puraha iva ujjwalaha. Karpura pura iva ujjwala, kayasya kanti, kaya kanti. So basically, sparkling white image of Lord Shiva, he imagines in front of him. Gauripati, Shiva, Chintayata Maya. I'm thinking of Lord Shiva, and while thinking about Lord Shiva, me, Joshi Sadashiva. Sadashiva is the first name, Joshi is the second name. Upav, Av ityukte Nama, Upav ityukte Upanama, Sadashivena जोशी इति उपाभ्येन सुधा इत्याख्या टीका श्रमेण रचिता. I have put a lot of efforts and created this particular tika.
So he
Okay.
has used his name here also, like
We mentioned that, right? So
yes.
आत्मनाम गुरोर्नाम इति न वदामः, तथापि तत्तेन अत्र उक्तमस्ति. तस्य किं स्पष्टीकरणं दीयते?
एकने एव.
लेखने न दोषः, उच्चारणे दोषः, न तु लेखने दोषः इति एकं कारणं दीयते. There is another reason that they give. So when you say Atmanama, it is the name given by your parents, which is usually a gupta or private name, which you should not use. So in general, the custom is that you are given multiple names when at birth or at the ceremony. So one of them is a private name, and that should not be spoken anywhere else. And all other names are the ones that you use for the normal transactions. So one of those names can be used, but the real private name should not be used. That is the reference used in Atmanama. So Atmanama तस्य ग्रहणं न करणीयम् इत्युक्ते यत् किमपि मूलनाम अस्ति तस्य कुत्रापि ग्रहणं न करणीयम् इति किञ्चित् समाधानं दीयते तत्र. There is third explanation also, so multiple levels of explanation. So there is a, I don't know how many of you know, but there is a nyaya called Kupa Khanaka Nyaya. Does anybody know this Kupa Khanaka Nyaya? It's a pretty popular one actually. Kupa Khanaka Nyaya. So Kupa Khanaka Nyaya means that somebody who is digging a well becomes completely dirty by the soil, by the sand, by that wet water and so dirty water and so on. But later on, when he digs the well and he gets the water at the end, with the same water, he not only cleanses himself, but he can use that water for 100 other things. So a small inconvenience or a small mistake or a small papa done in the beginning leads to a bigger punyam that not just washes off that papa but also adds to new punyam. Kupa Khanaka Nyaya. While digging, first he will become dirty. That is equivalent of doing a papa. But at the end, because of that action itself, he will get water. And with that water, not just he can wash himself, but he can drink that water, put it to his crops, give to the entire town, and so on. So the amount of punya that he is going to get, or amount of benefit that he is going to get, is significantly larger than the amount of papa that he has caused earlier. The papa, not just the papa gets washed, not just the dirt gets washed, but the water can be used for other reasons also. So this is called Kupa Khanaka Nyaya. So the same Nyaya they apply over here. Whatever minimum papam is done by writing his own name in the Mangalacharanam, not just that gets washed off, but lot more punyam is generated by actually creating the grantha, which is then used by hundreds and thousands of users, and their vyakarana knowledge increases. So a small papa is overcompensated by a large amount of punya. There are different ways to justify this particular Atmanama reference across commentaries.
Mahoday, is there any significance of the Sudha Teeka? Like, is that Are there? I've seen some books
I
like Sushama, or the name.
I would just think it is like the name Sudha Teeka.
Huh.
Like I would say, just he chose this particular name. That's it. I mean, I have not read, or the book doesn't say any particular reference to the word Sudha anywhere.
Like usually, if you look at some, when I buy books, they have this Samskrita Vyakya. There is a different names given. I was wondering if there is any
So
meaning to it.
look at this. In the initial part of this, let's read this, and it might have an answer to your question. So स एषा सुधा विनिहता अद्य सदाशिवेन स्वीकृत्य न सफलये सपदि प्रयासं वसुधा सुधाशनगुरोः कराब्जयोः निहितां सुधा यदि बुधा इदं मया सफला अधुना भवति किं फलायनो पठतः कुमारककुलस्य सन्ततम्. Doesn't say anything about why he has the word Sudha used over here. I mean, he tries to make Sudha Buddha and Vasudha Sudhashana and so on, but I don't think these are the reasons why he uses the word Sudha. I don't see any particular reason why the word Sudha has been used. Let's see here. So look silly. यद्यपि अस्याः सन्ति बह्व्यः टीका टिप्पण्यः, I think you understand this much Sanskrit, right? तथापि सर्वजनसाधारणस्य परमसुकुमारमतेः, for idiots, संस्कृतभाषा ज्ञानवतः गुरुम् अन्तरा अपि, without a teacher also you want to learn लघु सिद्धान्त कौमुदी, सूत्रार्थस्य रूपसाधनस्य च अनायास easily बोधलाभाय छात्राणाम परीक्षा महार्णवतारणाय. In those days Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi exams were very common. So Maharnava, the big ocean of the exam, in order to cross that, so exam oriented book, Pariksha Maharnavataranaaya Parama Sarala Sudha Nama Tika Sarala Bhashaya Maya Virachaya Shreshthivara Mahodayaya Shri Haridasatmaja Jaya Krishna Dashaya Prakashanartham Pradai. So he doesn't say anything about the
Just
Sudha word. That is the actual reason. All the way at the end of this book, you can see question papers. I don't know if you have gone till the end, but there are like a bunch of question papers and say Laghu Kaumudyaha Prashnaha 1948. Laghu Kaumudyaha Prashnaha 1949 and so on. So actual exams were very common. Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi exam those times, and he basically this is a study book for the exam, a guide for the exam. That's what he clarifies in the introduction. So these are the questions that are given over here. So somebody is saying Sudha iti Amrutam nectar iti asti. So that is correct. So but that doesn't justify why the name of the book is Sudha. There's no clear reason on why the name of the book is Sudha. I mean, words are good. I mean, Kaumudi is also a very nice name. But he just says so it is his choice. Okay, anybody wants to say anything?
But is Bhagini's question is about, is Sudha a particular type of Vyakya? Because you see a lot of Sudha Vyakya, right? Is that the question that she asked?
If that
yeah. I mean, yeah, because I've seen some books like which say Sushama or Saphala. It sort of looks like it refers to types of tika or something like that.
Okay, so this is completely unknown to me. So I might please
I
find out
think they're
more.
just names of the tekas.
Yeah. So that's what I know. So Sushama, Sufala, and Gada and Sudha, these are all the names of the tikas.
Like we have
Otherwise, books would have
Subodhini,
mentioned it.
Vyakya and all.
But why is Subodhini called Subodhini?
It teaches well, Subodhini.
Yeah, that's what exactly. That's what. So Anvartha Samnya, right? So Subodhini, he thinks, the author thinks it teaches well, so it's Subodhini. So similarly, Bhattoji Dikshita thinks it is Prakashika, so it is Kaumudi. So you take the meaning. So in the same way, you can say this book captures the nectar of Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi, so it is Sudha. But that is a useless explanation. Anybody can say I'm writing a book which captures a nectar and I'll call it Sudha. So
Like Mahodaya, if you have Amrita, it is Amara, Shashwata, maybe in that form. Like Sudha, if you your knowledge will be
I
amara.
understand that. All this is basically reasons why Sudha is a good choice of name. But it doesn't tell you why Sudha has to be the only name and why not something else. So you get what I'm saying, right? So all that we are saying is how a child gets named. Like how will you name your kid? It's the name that you like. And then once you like that name, there might be multiple reasons. You know that it has a good name in dictionary, it is uncommon, it starts with letter A, and so on. You have different criterias. So in the same way, there will be some criterias over here. That's it. There's nothing like he thinks it is Sudha, so it is Sudha. It's all that is the final conclusion. Anyway, anything else? So अनेन प्रकारेण अत्र लघुसिद्धान्तकौमुद्याः संज्ञाप्रकरणस्य मङ्गलाचरणं समाप्तं, तस्य अध्ययनं समाप्तम्. अग्रिमवर्गे जनाः इच्छन्ति चेत् प्रत्याहरणम् अध्ययनं प्रारभामहे. So in the next class, what I want to do, this is horrifying, but I still tell you, there are 14 Shiva Sutras. So what we are going to do is, out of these 14 Shiva Sutras, whatever pratyaharas are generated, we are going to take each pratyahara and we are going to interrogate Maheshwar or Panini over there, and we are going to say, why is that pratyahara necessary? What would happen if that pratyahara is not there in Sanskrit or in Sanskrit grammar? And through each of them, we will learn a little small things. So that part is not actually there over here. So here he only takes up only a handful of 2 or 3 pratyaharas and talks about it. But I have taken my own whatever luxury or whatever freedom to go through all the 44 pratyaharas, and because it will teach you a lot of things. So not in more details, but ayuna and ruluka. Why not combine ayuna ruluka? Just take ayu ruluk. Why not have one pratyahara? What is the point of having ayuna as a separate pratyahara? This question we should ask for each of the Shiva Sutras, and we should come with one answer. It's not going to be difficult, but it's going to be very interesting. That's our plan for next. I don't know how many classes. I want to say one class, but that's not possible. So how many, whatever number of classes is there.